All right, from college football to the NFL, the Minnesota Vikings loss last night further complicated the playoff picture as we head into the last week of the season. Very little has been set when it comes to seeding, and in the AFC, 7 teams are still battling for 2 remaining spots in the postseason. Aaron Schatz is president of FootballOutsiders.com and is the author, or editor, I should say, of Pro Football Prospectus, kind of an almanac for football stats. He says there's no clear favorite this year to win the Super Bowl. He joins us now to help us separate the contenders from the pretenders. So, Aaron, thanks for joining us. The AFC playoff picture really jumbled. Who do you think are the favorites to get a seat here in the playoffs?
Well, I mean, as far as the wild cards go, Baltimore has played the best out of any of those teams this year. You know, obviously they're having some injury problems and they have a lot of penalties this last week. But if they beat Oakland, they're in, and that should be easy. And the New York Jets have to beat Cincinnati, and it's possible that Cincinnati may have nothing to play for because if they lose, they would probably play the Jets again next week. So they may just sit people, and that would make the Jets and probably Baltimore the last 2 teams.
By the way, you have a stat. A lot of times teams that are winning more often when they come into the playoffs will lose against a team that has won less. Explain it to us for a second.
Yeah, you know, in the history of the NFL, as you would expect, the teams that were best in the regular season generally won in the playoffs and made it to the Super Bowl. That hasn't been the case the last 4 years. In the last 4 years, the team with the better regular season record is actually 18-19 in playoff games. And that's why it's really difficult to figure out who's going to win this year, because first of all, you don't know if you should go with sort of the idea of the best teams are more likely to win, or is it who's hot now? And the second is, it may not even be who's hot now, because last year Arizona was terrible going into the playoffs, and they didn't turn it on until they got there. The year before, the Giants were very bad in December until Week 17 against the Patriots. That turned it on, and they won the Super Bowl. So Minnesota and New Orleans have slowed down now, but if they follow the example of those teams, that doesn't mean they're out of the Super Bowl conversation at all.
All right, so I guess if you want it more, you have a better chance. Let's focus now on the AFC here. Are the Colts a clear favorite in the AFC?
Not really. I mean, despite their record, and let's be honest, they're really undefeated with an asterisk, they haven't been better than the other top teams in the AFC. They have a lot of very close wins, but every team in the NFL this year has some sort of weakness. And the one thing about the AFC is that the Patriots, the Chargers, and the Colts are all very strong. The Bengals are sort of pretenders out of those 4 division champions. They've had a lot of close wins over bad teams, and their only really impressive victories have been over the teams in their own division, Pittsburgh and Baltimore, and then they blew out Chicago, which, you know, doesn't look that great in retrospect.
Aaron, only 20 seconds here. Let's talk quickly about the NFC. Is there a favorite there?
Green Bay is playing really well right now, and so are Philadelphia and Dallas. I like Green Bay, but they got to get their special teams in order.
Oh, quickly, a Super Bowl pick. Have you got one?
I would say the most likely matchup right now would be whoever wins the Philadelphia-Dallas game or Green Bay against Indianapolis.
All right, hey, Aaron, thanks so much for joining us. Aaron Schatz there talking about football. President, by the way, of FootballOutsiders.com. What a cool job.